I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, and the doctor said, "I'm sorry, there's no cure." And I thought to myself, bullshit. Just watch. Right. So it took me a year and a half. A year and a half later, I went back to the doctor, and she said, I got the blood test, right. Before and after, and she goes, "How did you do this? Wow. Your levels are fine." And so she got a pad and paper, and she sat down. And she goes, tell me your protocol."
So I interview my yoga teacher, Kat Ames, who I really, really love in this video. Kat was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. She's 61 years old and she moves like a 5-year-old. I am pretty much not kidding. She can do things I can't do in my 30s or have done ever in my 20s. Her strength and flexibility is amazing. She has lots and lots and lots of experience as both in yoga and in other types of martial arts, Pilates, Qigong, all kinds of things. So I really enjoy her a lot as a person. She's a phenomenal yoga teacher, and I wanted to interview her because she has, and in her words, she's cured herself of her RA naturally. She didn't use any medications or anything like that. Her blood levels and everything went back to normal, and she's doing wonderful. My mom has had rheumatoid arthritis for about 6 years now. She's had 2 knee replacements. She doesn't take medication. She has changed her diet quite a bit and has done better, but she's still in a lot of pain a lot of the time. So it also interested me to talk with Kat because I know that there are lots of people suffering from arthritis and rheumatoid arthritis, and Kat very clearly does not suffer from it. She has no pain at all. In this video, we talk about that. We talk about some of her history with things. She was in pain before the rheumatoid arthritis for about 13 years from other things that we'll talk about in the video. And she's just doing really great. So she gives a knee exercise that I highly recommend. Obviously check with your physician before partaking in any information here from this video. And that being said, run this by your physician if you'd like. This knee exercise that Kat does, she explains in there, completely helped her knees. She gives it to all kinds of her students, runners, everything else. It's a really wonderful exercise. I have a cousin who's used it and it's started to help him, which is really awesome. So I wanted to provide that for everybody. That all being said, the more that this video is liked and shared and the more subscribers we have, the more people Kat and I can help with in general. So anybody you know who has arthritis or has painful knees, please share this with them if you find it useful, if you think they might get something out of it. My goal is definitely to help as many people who are in pain as possible. And I will also say with that my mom and I did a private session for my mom with Kat, post this video along with the information in this video. And my mom is starting to have more and more frequent pain-free days, which has been really awesome, on top of having hope that she can feel better again without having to do the things she hasn't wanted to do. So if you want to get a hold of Kat to ask her any questions or find out about private sessions for you or someone you know, her email is mindfulmovement.ka@gmail.com. That's all going to be below in the description. You can also reach out to her on Facebook, and her link to Facebook is also below in the description. Without further ado, here's the video, and I hope you guys really enjoy it. Please, again, remember to like, subscribe, and share away. See you later. How did you end up getting into yoga?
Well, the main reason is I was doing martial arts and I didn't have the strength. It required a lot of flexibility. I didn't have the strength, and I was always injuring myself. Oh my God, always, always, always. So I thought, well, I needed some yoga so I can, work on my flexibility. And well, the flexibility was strength. And there wasn't really any, I didn't know of any yoga around, so I started studying out of a book.
Really?
Yeah, so that's how I started yoga. And
how old were you? Ish?
Oh, let's say 20.
In your 20s, early
2,
20s?
3, yeah,
Okay.
23, something like that. And so I started studying out of a book. And then eventually I found a yoga teacher here in Reno way back in the day. Her name was Lee.
Yeah.
And I know a few yoga teachers that started way back with her.
Yeah?
Yeah. And so that's when I started. And that was 28 years ago, I think, or more. Yeah, about 28 years ago I started yoga.
Okay. I didn't know you've been, I mean, I knew you've been going for a little while, but I didn't know.
And so when I really started doing yoga, I remember I did yoga 3 times a week for 8 years.
Wow.
Before I even started teaching a class.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So you had been well practiced before.
Yeah.
Well practiced.
And I studied a lot so when we moved to New Jersey, I studied with all the big names and I did workshops. I did thousands of hours of workshops and I just dove into it because I saw that there was so much value there. When it helped me, and I started getting stronger. And I went from yoga, that ability to get stronger and more flexible. I won the Taekwondo championship in 1989 and 1990 of both forms and fighting.
Really?
Yeah.
So you started, do you remember what year you started learning yoga?
What year?
Just a little bit before then?
Yeah. Yeah.
So then you got stronger and pretty quickly. After you did it?
Yeah, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What kind of martial arts? You said Taekwondo? That's awesome. How did you get into that?
It was just on the bucket list. It was either that or fencing.
That's so great. Oh, that's awesome. Have you done fencing?
No, not yet.
Oh, you're gonna though, right?
No,
aren't you? I can totally see you doing fencing. I want to know when you go really badly. Oh, I want to see it. Okay, so you did Taekwondo and then, I mean, do you still do Taekwondo?
No, I did Taekwondo and Goju Karate and Muay Thai boxing and grappling. I did, all those martial arts for about 6 years. And then I just got into yoga so much.
Yeah.
I just went, boom, yoga. And so I just studied yoga and did yoga, and that was just yoga, yoga, yoga.
That was your jam. Okay, so then you moved to New Jersey later in your 20s, maybe?
No, that was after. No, so I left Reno when I was 35 when I got married.
Okay.
And then so we went to San Francisco and I taught yoga there in San Francisco.
Got it. Okay. And that's where you really dove into all that stuff.
Right. And I had some great yoga teachers in San Francisco. And then after that, I moved to New Jersey. And so we were close to New York. So there's great yoga teachers in New York. And
wow, that's really cool. Okay, that makes sense then, because you were telling me. So you were telling me about the exercise, which I'll probably have you show later, for the knee.
Yeah.
Who you learned that in Chicago?
Yeah,
maybe.
Chicago. That was a couple of years ago when. That was here. I did the first 100 hours with Polly Zink. His name is Polly Zink. He's the founder of Yin Yoga. Okay. And I did the first 100 hours here in Reno, and then the second 200 hours in Chicago. Okay, now I'd like to also show you what I told you about the compression for the joints. Here's a knee thing, because a lot of people have knee stuff. Now, let me just tell you, when I was diagnosed with arthritis, my knees were bad. I had a lot of pain walking, especially going up and down stairs. It was really bad, very, very painful. And I thought, I'm going to have double knee replacements. It was so bad. So what happened was, I was walking upstairs to go to my Yin Yoga teacher training with Polly Zink, who's the founder of Yin Yoga, and that was here in Reno. And I would go upstairs every day, and I was like, oh, I can't do this. Do they have an elevator? So I told Polly about my knee stuff, and he showed me this exercise to do that I'm going to share with you, that I've shared with a lot of people that have really been helped. Okay, so let me face you this way. So you might have to get a cushion or a blanket for the back knee. If you do have knee stuff, your knees will be tender. Now, there's no way that I could have done anything like this. This isn't the exercise, but I just want to demonstrate because I couldn't even put any pressure on my knees. But I just want to see, just real quick, boom, see? Because that's a lot of pressure on the knees. There's no way I could have done that, okay? So I'm going to show you little simple, I need to get blocks though. I need to get blocks.
Go for it.
All right, so you're going to be doing a lunge. So you're going to start on your knees, so maybe get the blanket or whatever. Stepping forward. Now you're going to start here, but what we want to do, we want to aim ourselves for this compression. Now when I had arthritis and my knees were so bad, I went to a rheumatologist and he said, do not bend your knee past 90 degrees, past here. My knees got way worse, way worse. So Polly Zinc gave me this. So in your lunge, you want to actually slide your heel back and take that knee forward. Now you may not be able to, so here's the thing, if you just come here, that's fine. You're getting as much compression as you can. But if you don't touch the back of the thigh to the calf, then you keep your hands on blocks. If you can come all the way down, see here I'm sitting basically down, there's no space, then you can take your hand away from the block and actually apply pressure, even maybe with both hands, to stimulate this compression and opening to stimulate cartilage growth. Because cartilage is alive and it needs energy because it doesn't have the blood flow. This creates energy. And then you put pressure here and it's maybe 10 breaths and do this twice a day. In 3 days, after walking up those stairs to the workshop, to the teacher training, in 3 days, no pain. I haven't had pain since. That was in 2017, 16 or 17.
Wow.
No pain. No pain in my knees. And I can do all this. And then you can even come back here and do this.
Yeah, that's a lot. Somebody with RA could not be doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I was diagnosed with RA and cured myself. Let's try the other side. I have to balance out.
Mm-hmm.
So same thing. The key here is, now yoga teachers will say, don't take your knee past your toes. But the problem is that you need to move the joints in its full range of motion. And that is compressing. And that's really good. My heel's even up. And then, I'm not saying to go here. I'm just showing what I can do at 61. And diagnosed with RA.
And 4 car accidents.
And 3 abdominal surgeries.
3 abdominal surgeries.
Alright, so that's that. So I really wanted to show you this knee stretch because it's phenomenal. Again, when you slide your heel back and you can't go any farther, right? Keep your hands on blocks till you get there. Keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it every day. It's going to help a lot.
You've grown up with a family that, well, your dad wasn't really around, your mom ignored you, but it didn't seem to, you just always had that, all right, I'm on my own, I got to figure this out kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And you didn't hold any grudges, you weren't angry about it, or did you have some anger?
I remember one time, this is really funny, when I was 16, so my mom would always ask me to do stuff for her. Change my purse, so, because she changed her purse to match her outfit, right?
Okay, yeah.
And she wanted me to change her purse all the time, like, 4 times a week, change your purse.
Yeah.
So I did, and always do, help with, even when I was 8 years old, she wanted me to help with dinner, so I did that. Just a little good girl, right? When I was 16, she asked me to iron her shirt, and I was kind of tired of doing stuff for her when she didn't do anything for me.
Right.
So I said, "Can you iron your own shirt?" And she said, "I don't know how." And I said, "How do you think I know how to iron a shirt? Nobody taught me how to iron your shirt. You figure it out. You just do it. I'm not going to iron your shirt anymore. I'm sick of doing stuff for you."
Right. Wow.
I never ironed her shirt again.
You didn't? That's awesome. Wow. Did you finally figure it out?
I don't know if she did or not.
Or she just went with wrinkled stuff all the time?
I don't know.
Wow. Hey, well, that's pretty cool, though, that you got... I mean, that's really impressive to me.
And that was really the only time I ever talked back to her.
Really?
Was about,
16?
Yeah.
Was it like the only time?
That was like that one time.
My God.
I was just a good girl.
Yeah.
I was just good.
Wow.
And, you know, maybe I should have spoke my truth more often. You know, I've certainly learned that now.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
For sure.
Is that, so if you could go back and redo something, is that something, would you redo that? I mean, I know knowing that everything has happened for the reason it needed to, if you could go back and do anything different, what would you do? It doesn't have to be that.
But you know, you learn stuff along the way. You do things the way you do them because you do them the way you do them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I don't know if I would have changed anything because maybe it would have changed another outcome in the future a different way.
Yeah.
So I don't have any regrets. You know, I had to learn to speak my truth, and we learn, we do it over and over until we get it.
Yeah.
And we just do it however long it takes.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
Yeah. Okay, so then I want to ask that question, is learning to speak your truth, when did that kick in for you?
Now that was a one. That was a one because I think I was a peacemaker, you know, and it took me a while. It took me a while. And I think it might have been actually relatively recently.
That's what, so I'm curious because one, it's something I still work on. I'm getting better at, but I'm definitely not always there. I have my moments. And then sometimes my truth, I don't know which is my truth and which, because I have anger. So it's which is the truth and which is the anger, which one is talking. Does that make sense?
Yeah, exactly. I think you need to cool off so that you know that it's your truth and not your anger. And you can't speak your truth through anger. That doesn't work.
That makes sense.
Doesn't work.
It doesn't. I've tried it. It doesn't work real well.
No.
Doesn't go over well for anybody.
No.
Okay.
And there's a distinction between the two. So my truth, like during my marriage, being married to a covert, narcissistic, closeted alcoholic, and whenever I wanted to talk about stuff, not being able to, not that I wasn't wanting to do that, but him not being receptive for the conversation,
right? Because
he didn't want to deal with any of it.
Right.
So I realized to make peace in that, I had to swallow a lot and had to say, it's okay, I'm sorry when I wasn't, you know, and saying it's okay when it wasn't. The analogy of, you know, not talking about your stuff, not dealing with your stuff. It's like your stuff is a beach ball, and you push it down and you push it down, and the more stuff you have, the bigger that beach ball is, and the harder it is, and the more energy it takes to keep that squashed down. But all that energy, you are distracted from being present with someone else, you know? And also, that energy of pushing that down is going to come up anyway.
Because I noticed that when people have to shove something down, if it's not coming out verbally, or they're letting it out, or they're speaking their truth, it's coming out usually physically somehow, whether they have a physical ailment or this and that or whatever.
That's a very good observation. Yes. So I can only assume, with living with my ex-husband and not being able to speak my truth, regardless if I was willing to speak my truth, but I just couldn't, that maybe that there was some things that were manifesting physically.
Yeah.
And so eventually I got RA, rheumatoid arthritis.
Okay.
And I was in pain from a car accident when was that? That was about 15 years ago. I was in a car accident and I had a disc pressing on a nerve. So I lived with pain, a lot of pain for 13 years.
Yeah.
A big chunk of that was in the relationship where I couldn't communicate.
Right.
My true feelings.
So that's really interesting.
Right. Even though I was willing to.
Yeah.
Now
you just weren't allowed to.
And I did talk to some people, but there was a lot of denial in my part.
Okay.
Looking back, I didn't see all the signs.
Okay.
I had no clue.
Yeah.
But my body knew.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
My gut knew.
Right.
And I didn't listen to my gut, and I didn't listen to my body.
Yeah.
And so you know, the body has such an intelligence, and it's mind-body connection.
Yeah.
There's no disconnection.
No.
You know, there's no separate.
Mm-mm.
The body.
We try to separate it.
Yeah.
I think we've been taught to separate
Yeah.
it, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But
it's
yeah, you're right.
It's mind body. It's mind body.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had a pain body.
Huh.
And, you know,
Yep.
you have this pain body, and you know what was going on. I was totally unaware of.
Yeah.
In my realm of reasoning, you know, that I had back then. I mean,
Right.
now it's so clear to me. There were
Yeah.
signs all over the place.
God, isn't that funny how that works?
But I think I was so used to making peace and being that good girl
Okay.
and happy
Yep.
that I just was happy regardless. It's really amazing. It really is.
That really is interesting. I can really relate to the good girl stuff. Possibly in a different way. I don't really know. I was always a good girl growing up and made everybody happy. It was my job in life to make everybody happy. I mean, make all the good grades to make everybody happy, make the teachers happy, just make everybody happy, and then we'll be good.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's even stuff I'm learning now. I'm 33 now. Of like, no, I don't want to have to make everybody else happy. I want to figure out how to make me happy.
Yeah.
And then if it so happens that they get happy because of it, right on, you know? And if not,
Right.
I want to be okay with that, you know?
Exactly. And in my relationship where I said, it's okay, you know, he means well, or, you know, whatever, making excuses or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And now, oh, hell no. You know,
Right.
I'm not going to say it's okay when it's not.
Okay.
I'm not going to apologize when it's
Right.
not my fault.
Right.
There's no way I can do that now.
Right. Wow. That's really cool, though.
So the slate is clean. It is not, you know.
So do you think that happened post-divorce? That's what did it? Or
I
were
think
there... Yeah.
I think so.
That's
yeah,
pretty...
I think so.
I'm like...
And as far as the pain that I had, that pain body, you know, being in pain for, you know, really bad pain for 13 years, and moving through it and doing and being happy anyway. You know, there's a positive aspect to that too.
Absolutely.
There's a positive aspect of, you know, you make these grooves in your brain, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I had a real strong positive groove. You
Right.
can have a depression groove.
Right.
You can have a despair groove,
Yeah.
you know. Pick
Yeah.
your groove. I picked the positive one, you know.
Yeah.
So I was in the positive groove.
Your groove.
Even when I was in pain.
Yeah.
You
Which
know?
is impressive. That's really impressive to me. Because I had a completely I've had to learn to be positive when I've been in pain. One, though, I didn't know why I was in pain for the longest time. Like, my pain started when I was 15, and I didn't know what it was coming from. So there was this confusion around, why am I the one in pain and everybody else seems to be just fine? And why, you know, so I think I started to, and I would go to doctors and all kinds of people, and nobody could tell me. It wasn't until 13 years later that somebody figured out it was, I had sprained an SI joint a long time ago and basically didn't let it heal and then just kept running on it. So it helped. Suddenly when I knew, then it was, now there's options. But not knowing, it was just, I don't know why I'm in this pain. And so it was just different for me, though. But I didn't have that positive, I wasn't born with the positive groove, right? So I really admire it, and I learn, and I like to keep practicing so I get more in the positive groove and just stay there, you know?
Well, I think that's one thing that yoga does.
Yeah.
Is it really connects you to that mind-body.
Yeah.
And you really get a sense of what your body is feeling, where you are in space and time, and this whole thing, you know, dealing with your pain, and not so much becoming your pain and not letting it take you over. You know, have your pain but not be your pain.
So then that's what I want to ask too. So you started doing the yoga, started studying, going to the workshops, and before had you been diagnosed with RA before?
No.
Okay.
No,
so you were in the middle of, or midst of it.
This was just the pain. A lot of the pain from the car accident.
Okay, got it.
Is basically that 13 years of pain.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
And I think that even after I healed that pain from yoga, after 13 years, then, there was this living with this ex-husband who was the covert narcissistic closeted alcoholic that affected my body in some way. So I was still fighting that, and it was almost like I was fighting that beach ball down, and I didn't know I had the beach ball.
Right.
I didn't know.
Isn't it crazy?
I didn't know.
We spend all this energy on the beach ball. We don't even know it's there. I don't know.
I didn't
just
even,
holding something down. It's fine.
I didn't even know what it was until I'm like free of the beach ball. It's like, oh my God. But it took me getting a diagnosis of rheumatoid arthritis.
Okay.
This was right at the end of the marriage.
Got it. And after the car accidents.
After the car accident, after I healed myself, there was no pain of that physically, but there was still the beach ball.
Yeah.
And so I was diagnosed with that in 2016, and it was, my marriage was, it was like we were roommates, and it just, I knew something was up, and I tried to talk to him, but it just wasn't.
It wasn't happening.
No.
This wasn't going to go.
No, actually, I thought that he might have Alzheimer's. This is how blind I was, or denial. I thought he had Alzheimer's. I didn't know. I didn't know why he was kind of stumbling. I didn't know why his memory was bad.
Right.
I didn't know why his speech was slurred. Huh. I didn't know. Wow. I thought, I'm destined to take care of this guy. He's got a mental issue. Obviously, he's got a problem that he doesn't want to talk about because he hasn't worked in 15 years.
Wow.
So I just thought, okay, it's my good girl, I got to take care of him because he's my husband.
That is interesting how you do that. Wow, well, congratulations for...
Yeah. So I got diagnosed with RA and then found out after that he was an alcoholic, because I found out he was sneaking vodka, because I found out where his bottle stash was.
Okay.
So I could keep track of it.
Yeah.
So I knew when he was lying to me.
Right.
Because he was so good.
Yeah.
At that.
Wow.
The lying and all that, and this deceiving. But I knew, I finally had evidence. I wasn't crazy. There was something tangible.
Yeah.
Anyway, with all that, then I was diagnosed, because there's stress. There was stress. Yeah. And then my mom was dying. I was going back and forth from Nevada City to here, taking care of her on the weekends, doing her shopping and everything, and she was hard.
Yeah.
She was still not lovey-dovey.
Okay.
If anything, she was even more of a bitch.
Wow. All right.
Yeah, but it was my good girl obligation to take care of my mommy. So back and forth, but there was a lot of stress. So stress can trigger any autoimmune.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
And I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. And I was sick.
Yeah.
I hurt all over. It was bad. I remember the morning I woke up, I couldn't even move. I felt like I had been hit by a car. So it kind of came on slowly, and then all of a sudden the body says, you're not moving. You can't do this anymore. Boom. Listen.
Yeah, your body stopped you.
Yep. So I had to take care of it. So I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, and the doctor said, I'm sorry, there's no cure. And I thought to myself, bullshit. Just watch.
Right.
So it took me a year and a half doing research. I read research papers on what works.
Really?
Yeah, naturally.
Okay. Yep.
And so fasting, intermittent fasting, taking away the meat and the gluten and the dairy and all that stuff, and did all that I could. And then less is more movement, really feeling my body, and that's well, going back to the car accident when I couldn't do regular yoga, I got down on the floor and I was in so much pain, and I moved so slowly, and I explored what works. So using that for the RA too, where you just go so slow, coming back to that mind body. and just doing all that I could. And then a year and a half later, went back to the doctor. And she said, I got the blood test, before and after. And she goes, how did you do this?
Wow.
The levels are fine. And so she got a pad and paper, and she sat down. And she goes, tell me your protocol.
Wow.
Yeah. Because it's really rare.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's really rare to cure yourself from RA.
Yeah.
But I can show you later what I can do, and it's really a miracle.
I mean, even in class watching you, I usually come home to Travis, like, so, can you do this? I can't. She can. We have to work on that. Like, I went home with the, what was it, the other day, the sitting down and then standing up. I can stand up with no hands if I rock first. You know what I mean? But I'm not, so new life goals. Like, oh my God. She could just pop right up. It's no problem. And I asked Travis, and I thought, and we both have some work to do on that. So you're such an inspiration in so many ways.
It's actually really good to, like you sit down on the floor and get up without your hands, because you work core muscles that you normally don't work.
That makes sense.
Because you can't cheat. You can't use your glutes or your quads when you're all the way down to get up. So you have to use your core. So, and I really found that, all this discovery from being in pain, finding that length and separating the vertebrae and sitting tall and standing tall, and that integration takes the pressure off the nerve with the disc pressing on it.
Got it.
And I found what works, keeping the lumbar curve.
Yep.
Keeping the length. So that was a gift. My pain was a gift, so I can share that with other people.
Yeah.
It makes such a difference.
It's amazing to me. I mean, it's just like to be through all the pain that you've been through physically, let alone the other stuff.
Right.
And then to come back and to be in phenomenal shape and do things, most people in class can't do.
Been in 4 car accidents.
Wow.
All of them very serious car accidents. I wasn't driving in any of them, just want you to know.
Just so we're clear.
Yeah,
get that out of the way.
Clear, I wasn't driving.
Okay.
I mean, I was behind the wheel one time, but I was stopped at a stoplight.
All right, fair enough.
Right?
Okay, so that doesn't really count. All right.
And I've had 3 abdominal surgeries.
Wow. Because of the accidents?
No.
Oh, separate
just
things.
Separate
okay.
things. And I've almost died a handful of times.
My God, Kat.
Yeah.
You definitely are here for a reason.
Yeah.
You're definitely here for a reason.
Yeah, I think I'm doing
not a mistake.
I think I'm doing my life's mission here, and spreading the word that we can heal our body.
Yeah, I think you're one walking phenomenon.
And I swear, at 61, I am stronger and more flexible and happier than I've ever been in my entire life.
Oh my God.
Now don't say, I can't do that, I'll never do that, I'll break something. You gotta start somewhere and be where you are. And have that be okay. There's no end result. I can only do this because I've been doing this for 30 years. Because if you don't use it, you lose it. If I didn't do this all the time, I couldn't do that. You will heal yourself when you're ready. Most people aren't ready. You either have to get to a place where you're so low that you want to make a change, but a lot of times your pain is like your comfortable place.
Yeah.
That's you get sympathy.
Yeah.
You get people to care for you, you get sympathy, whatever you create for that, around that pain, right? It's working for you. Right. Because if it wasn't working, you would make the changes.
Right.
So I think you're right how people are now seeing that the opiates aren't working. They cause addiction and all that. I never did take any of the opiates. Maybe I did for like 3 days after that real bad car accident, and then I realized what it does is it masks the pain so you don't feel. So you lose that mind-body connection, so you're not going to heal.
Right.
On opiates, you're not going to heal.
Right.